It is a truth universally acknowledged that a booktuber in possession of subscribers must be in want of a top 10 books of the year video. Hey everyone, I'm Nev and this is my top 10 books of the year. No rules, no honourable mentions, let's just get straight into it. Coming in at number 10 is 3001 by Arthur C. Clarke. This is part of the 2001 series, the fourth book in the series, and I really loved these books. I'm not going to go into the details of the plot. If you don't know what 2001 is, why are you watching this channel? What I can tell you is that this is a fitting conclusion to the entire four-book series. Along with this, I also did read The Lost Worlds of 2001, and it was a close call. I think these are both excellent books. This one tells a bit about the history of the making of 2001, like an extended edition DVD. It's got all these extra chapters that were cut from the original 2001 book and film. Fascinating insight into the development and the history of this amazing series. Coming in at number 9 is The Lost Road and Other Writings by Tolkien. So this is part of the History of Middle-earth Volume 5. These are edited by Christopher Tolkien, but a large chunk of the text is actually written by J.R.R. Tolkien. And Christopher is just adding his notes onto what Tolkien originally wrote. There's early drafts of things like the Silmarillion. There's lists of dates. This one in particular is interesting because it has Tolkien's time travel story, which he didn't finish. Tolkien and Lewis were going to write two sci-fi stories. One was going to be space-based and the other one was time travel-based. C.S. Lewis got to do his space trilogy. Tolkien was going to do his time travel one, and he never finished it. But what is there is quite interesting, particularly in that the main character is very much like Tolkien, actually. There's other stuff in here, like the development of the languages that Tolkien came up with and kind of their internal history in terms of how they developed in world. So yes, this is incredibly geeky, but I love it. All right, 2 for the price of 2. This is number 8 and number 7. This is The City of Thieves by Ian Livingstone, and this is Deathtrap Dungeon by Ian Livingstone, both part of the Fighting Fantasy series of game books. These are where they're really developing into a very well done game books. Some of the early ones are a bit rough, but these two were really good. And if you don't know what these are, you can go and check out my Intro to Fighting Fantasy video. Next up, The High King by Lloyd Alexander. This is book number 5 of the Chronicles of Prydain, and this was a really great conclusion to this series. These were written in the 60s, roughly about the same time that The Wizard of Earthsea was being written as well. One of these was made into a Disney movie. I'm not sure I've actually seen the whole thing. There was also a Sierra Online computer game. That was pretty cool. Anyway, supposedly these are kids' books, and yes, they are kind of kids' books, but they're the kinds of kids' books that adults can enjoy, and in particular, this one deals with some quite heavy themes, actually, and the ending is superb. So that's number 6. Now, these last 5, I really struggled with figuring out where they go, but yeah, they're all fantastic books. Probably this one, maybe not number 1. It is good though. It is Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Brandon Sanderson is very easy to read. This is 650 pages, but you just read it like nothing else. And I think this is where Sanderson starts trying to have some humour in his books. And yeah, I thought it was quite funny in parts. Not laugh out loud funny, but just kind of amusing. Unfortunately, the ending is not the best in this. It is a 5-star book, but the ending is, as Mike's Book Reviews said, a 2-star ending. So that's why it gets to be position 5. Number 4 is The Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan, book 4 of The Wheel of Time. You know, it's been quite a while since I read this. I've got a real hankering to read book number 5. As people say, this is where it really starts to take off. There's some really cool stuff in this book going into the past of this world, Randland. It's crazy that for a 14-book series, they never came up with a name for the world that this is part of. Anyway, that is book number 4, and that is my number 4. And coming in at number 3 is Rise of a Merchant Prince by Raymond E. Feist. This is book number 2 of the Serpent War saga, part of the larger Rift War cycle. And I just love Feist's writing style. Whereas Robert Jordan, there's a lot of detail, and that's nice. With Feist, you get straight to the action. Basically, every chapter you'll be skipping like a month. You don't get all this stuff in between that's unnecessary. It's just, let's get on with the story. And the story is fantastic. Quite different to the first one, because it's the first one is following one character, one boyhood friend, and this is following the second boyhood friend who is becoming this merchant prince. The Rise of the Merchant Prince. And so his perspective on things is quite different to the other character, which is really fun to watch. So that's number 3. And coming in at number 2 is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I had to read this before the movie came out. In fact, I had to read this before I watched the first trailer, because the first trailer has spoilers in it. But it is everything that you can expect from an Andy Weir. Lots of science, lots of intrigue, a guy that's using science to figure things out, the world at stake. I do still prefer The Martian over this one, but this is definitely top tier. And so my number 1 book of 2025 is The Mad Ship by Robin Hobb. This is book 2 of the Liveship Traders, the second trilogy in the realm of the Elderlings. And what can I say about this? We've had all the introductions in book 1. In book 2, we can just get on with the plot. And the first book, it really is about this family drama. So in this book, you see that continuing family drama as various bad things happen to them, which Robin Hobb is fond of doing, putting her characters through very difficult circumstances. But she just does it so well. This is a 900-page book. I thought it was a little bit long, but so much of it is so good. And so that's why that gets number 1 in my top 10 of 2025. If you had to make a list of just the ones of this list that you had read, how would you rank them? Let me know in the comments. I will see you in the next video. See ya.